front of us. All of our players are in this lobby, and we're going to get our operator bans underway.
Yep, we finally get into the game. And I believe the graphic is incorrect. It's actually KCP banning first. And they will go ahead and take out probably Thatcher, I would imagine. One of the either Thatcher or Maverick. Yeah. One of the hard breachers. We saw Hibana was actually left up, and there we go. It's going to be a Thatcher ban. First up from the Kansas City Pioneers. Another reminder, the graphic is unfortunately reversed in-game. It's the Kansas City Pioneers on blue, and it's Outlast on orange. The second ban, usually it's a Hibana. She is just way too powerful. She can open up every single hatch. She's very versatile, but no, it'll actually be the Maverick from Outlast, and that's interesting because you're leaving up every other hard breacher, but now that Thatcher and Maverick are gone, your utility clear as the attackers has been significantly diminished, and that's going to have to prompt the Cade ban.
Right, I mean, almost a guarantee every time you see these two bans, and this final one generally could be a little bit looser. You reserve it for something more intel related, maybe a Melusi if you don't want to deal with those Banshees, but it could be, you know, something like that Mira, as we're going to see it roll up here. A very common clubhouse ban to close things up, and, well, it looks like we've got a pretty standard clubhouse in front of us. But like you said, Hibana staying up on the board is always an interesting element, because it generally means that while that top floor CCTV and cache attack may be a lot more difficult, you might have to deal with some active bandit tricking when you head downstairs to Church and Arsenal. Those attacks can often go down a little bit smoother.
Something else that's a little bit interesting is that Valkyrie is left unbanned. She has started to become one of the most banned operators in the game, and especially on maps like Clubhouse, you do not want to leave her up. Outlast are already taking a different comp than we saw in the Parabellum Okami game. They're bringing the Thermite over the Ace, and they've even got a Kali. That's kind of odd. Kali, not an operator you normally see on Clubhouse, but I guess it's to help, you know, alleviate some of that that utility clear that you're losing with the Thatcher and the Maverick. You know, bringing the Nomad, you can kind of take that anti-wall breach off the table if it's right up against it on the defense. Something that we're seeing from KC Pioneers is they're probably not too worried about denying many breaches, and they're setting up a roam that we start to see become a little bit more popular. It's not quite an SSG roam. It still revolves around time wasting and drone denial, but you're bringing still the Jaeger and the smoke, so you have a little bit stronger anchor presence as well as that Aruni.
Yeah, I think operator selection is going to be a pretty consistent talking point today. We've already seen in this new season quite a few changes. Even in Pro League, we've seen Finka come into the meta a bit more, which is kind of hurts me to say a little bit, but it's something that, you know, we might get a little bit of a taste of in CL as well. Never know if Flores is going to make his CL appearance either, but right now, the Kali isn't going to be used for much other than assisting this roam clear, it seems. They're going to begin this top-down clear, the exothermic charge now opening up this platform wall. Gomez, the next person in their way, as Gen here, or Genesis, is going to be working their way in. The first player on the entry up towards Cash here. Oh, Wimpy. Where is that from? In construction, a really good headshot onto Genesis to open things up. A C4 is going to be wasted and find nobody outside of that con wall, but it is a very good start and a roam that is proving quite effective. All 5 players still alive. 1 minute already wasted.
Yeah, we saw the Zofia pretty early on entry herself into Cash and just get caught off guard by Wimpy playing in Con. And now that they have the pick, now that one of those breaches is open, all the roamers have fallen off the top floor. We saw Diaz drop through the hatch and start to rotate back. Gomez and Wimpy falling back towards Secret, with Wimpy kind of tentatively playing on these secret stairs, probably just looking for more drone denial, as Outlast do still have 8 left and a whole minute and a half of the round. However, Nomad is still holding this upstairs, and I'm not quite sure if he knows that it has all been cleared out. Something else that the roam does is that it absorbs a lot of that hard breach that Jewel had. He had to use one of them on that plat wall. I believe he used his second on another wall upstairs. So all of this hard breach now, all the hatches, and if they want to open Church, is going to rely on Athena.
Well, at least the soft breach potential can rely on Panic, but I guess not anymore. As I say that, Diaz is going to make quick work of the sledge, shutting down pretty much all of the vertical before it could even begin. You get 2 holes in the backside of Arsenal, but that is just about it. You're now going to have to rely on, well, you got nothing really to work with here. So Nomad is just going to hope to use this pocket F2, maybe spot out the feet of Diaz. Yes, now whipping out the sniper to deal with it, but the call out was enough to allow Jewel to get the headshot instead. The push continuing now from Dirt, but Gomez shuts down that last player. Athenia will fall, leaving both Nomad and Jewel, the last 2 remaining with only 15 seconds to go. One player pushing down the main stairs will not even bother to check the long angle, and Gomez will be quick to punish that, leaving Nomad alone, holding an angle with the Cali sniper. He'll get 1 shot, cutting down at least 1 to the DBNO state, but Usain Jolt, or Jolton as we know him, will complete that final kill, and a great opening round from the Kansas City Pioneers.
Yeah, really well-constructed roam that Outlast just kind of pushed right into. They had all their drones up, but as far as I know from the silhouettes, it didn't look like the Zofia was following too closely behind one, and thanks to all the mute jammer set upstairs as well, that made intel very hard to collect. She dies right off the bat from Wimpy, and KCP instantly say, okay, we've wasted thermite charges, we got a kill, we wasted 1:20, let's fall back. And Outlast say, okay, we've got the top 2 floor control, sure we lost a man, you know, Zofia is important, but it's not over yet. We've still got the Hibana. They are able to open the hatches. But what happens? As soon as the sledge goes for the vert play, DS is there to meet him, tucked in a corner and back Arsenal as the Vigil. Again, not detected by the drones. A lot of this, I think, was down to maybe lackluster drone work from Outlast, as the first 2 picks just came off mispositioning. Then Gomez on the Aruni able to find the last 2. I mean, the open church wall completely stunting any main push. At that point, Outlast had very little time. The only places they could come through were either the kitchen hatch or the main stairs. Kitchen hatch was getting gassed off by the smoke, and the smoke himself was holding the main stairs through that open walls. There's really nothing they could do there. Very well constructed from KCP. Now we go on to Cash, and it's a much more default turtle-like hold. No smoke means they're going to be bringing the Goyo for those shields. No Cade and no Cade and no Maverick or Thatcher means that bandit tricking is now going to be coming into play as well.
Well, not only that, we're actually seeing a construction hold, which isn't the most common thing, but something we've been seeing more and more increasingly. You've got those mute jammers on that Logi while you're leaving that cache to con wall soft to potentially allow yourself to get a rotation a bit later on, or, you know, just so you can allow your teammates to support you from cache if you are going to just try to hold con as long as you can. But right now, the focus will be on this platform wall, and the objective of Outlast is get this breach open. Young teams struggle with this. Something as simple as a bandit trick, we can see this take a bit longer than desired. You'd think that's why you bring the Kali. You have those lances to deal with that bandit trick, and while it's not going to be perfect early on, opening up that CCTV window will allow Jen to shut down the bandit, and it will finally allow Jewel to place down that exothermic charge, not wasting a single one, and only taking about 60 seconds to do so. So not the best start necessarily, but they got that wall open. They've got that early step done. Now it comes down to what they want to do next.
Yeah, and they've got that pick. Jolton trying to rotate out. The utility started to come flooding in because obviously, you know, when there's a bandit tricking, there's going to be ADSs covering him. Originally, it looked like the plan was for Outlast was to stun lock him with the Zof from server window, but Jolton just kind of rotates away and gives up his life to the Zof. So early 5v4, but still Outlast have to deal with these shields. There's one in con that Wimpy is playing behind, and there's one downstairs from the Goyo. And DS Lucas is someone that the attack is going to have to deal with because he's got that C4 presence. And if he continues to hold lounge, that's something that Wimpy can fall back to as well later in the round, and that's 2 explosives that you're going to have to worry about. Outlast, they're clearing from Master. They know that the shield is the next step, but Gomez has actually been down inside of Rafters, and there's the C4 I was talking about. Holy crap, DS for 3, single-handedly with 1 piece of utility, putting the round from a -1 to a +1 man advantage, with Gomez not even finished off. He's still in Rafters. If anyone goes garage, he can call it out. He's pretty much irrecoverable at this point, just a human drone, but still, you've got the C4 that Wimpy just expended, unfortunately not going to land anywhere, and Jules just going to have to try and send it through the server window. He's waiting through barbed wire, and they know exactly where he is. He's just going to get shot in the back. Inrio has been downed at least, putting Nomad in a slightly more doable 1 versus 2, but both players are tucked towards red. He'll get one onto Inrio, take a little bit of damage on the retreat from both Wimpy and Diaz. Gomez is slowly bleeding out. Diaz will get his 4th kill of the round, and he'll confirm the ace. The Goyo saving round number 2 and giving KCP their 2nd defense in a row.
Welcome to Challenger League, Outlast. This is what it's like. Everything is going in your way, going in your favor, but one piece of utility is enough to completely change the course of the round, and that C4 is no exception. It is unbelievable that one tiny mistake cost them the round, but pure and simply, that is the truth. You've got 2 players, stacked up over on that CC side, but everyone else trying to push through Khan, trying to clear out that shield and clear out that construction hold. And Harrison, you predicted it perfectly. It was a C4 below that changed everything. And Outlast really couldn't recover at that point. Your Cali player, your Nomad in this case, it's really not designed to be a clutch 1v4 operator, right? You're really there to support your team and just try to cover them while they get that plant down, while they go for that clear. But that's 2 rounds in a row now that Nomad has been the last player alive, that the Cali has been able to do pretty much nothing except for downing 1 player. And that's what we saw in round number 1 with Nomad getting it down right before the round was over, and there, getting that down onto the Wamai over on the garage rafters. So the same story really happening twice in a row, although Outlast got a little bit closer in round number 2. But as I discovered when I came over to Challenger League, the higher you get in Siege, the way you work your way up from T3 to T2 to Pro League, every piece of utility matters more the higher you go. And I mean, that was 1 Nitro cell, and Outlast just had nothing to do about it. They just lost the round because of it.
It's one of my favorite things about this game, right? It's a game of both the micro and the macro. You got to pay attention to both, and things that are very micro, like a single C4, can turn into macro, like that 3K that just completely shifted the entire round into KC Pioneer's favor. It's those little things that come with experience, like when you're over a destructive floor like that, clearing through Master, and you haven't taken a guy out of Lounge, you can't group up like that. However, we'll be making a little bit quicker progress this round than we had in the round prior. Jewel, already, because there was just a single mute jammer on the jacuzzi wall, he'll open it before a minute has expired from the clock, but we still have to pay attention to KC Pioneer's hold. A lot of their stuff is dedicated over towards the con side of things, with their anchors further pushed back towards Master, and even, okay, Wimpy far and away and Strip, I guess, on an extended roam. If Outlast are only planning on pushing from this area of the map, unless they're able to win their trades and take site control before these roamers can fall back and influence this round, they might be in for a rude awakening unless they go for this split and clear DS.
Yeah, right now they don't seem to have any intent on clearing that. They're already going for this bathroom breach, and it will be successful. Gomez stuck in this corner, gonna have to go for the miracle shotgun play, but Jules says no. Wimpy has been downed in the meantime, leaving 3 players left to hold down this site against 5 hungry Outlast attackers. Athenio makes quick work of Jolton and turns this one heavily in Outlast's favor. Inrio sees one. That's the diffuser player now dropped. Jewel falls. Wimpy has been finished off, but still, it is Outlast heavily in the advantage. Now Diaz has repositioned over towards Cash, and Outlast is actually trying to force them out. A couple of X-Kairos pellets will quickly be dealt with, so that's not going to be much of a threat. And Inrio, he's going to be a massive threat. He takes care of 2 more. That's a triple kill on the round. Diaz, a beautiful shot onto Jen. Athenio, the last player remaining, now against 2. And once again, Outlast got complacent, and the advantage that they had secured has gone out the window. 30 seconds left for Athenio to make something happen. Nervous about the frost mat. Looks towards the ground, and all they will find is their grave. Another very good recovery from KCP. A rough start, but they bounced back, and Outlast could not handle it.
Inrio and DS with the 2 versus 5. Incredible work from both of those players. And I guess Outlast, welcome to Challenger League, Part 2. They had every advantage going for them. I really liked their clear at the very beginning. Early wall open, have the men post up on the metal balk, send utility into bathroom, stun that player, make sure the jammer is done for, and open up the bathroom wall with the thermite because you know there's no one watching it from Jim. Gomez, of course, he tries for a bit of a risky play. He rushes with the shotgun. I really thought he was going to get that kill with Jewel, but Jewel survived with just a shred of HP. That resulted in his death, and the rest of the KCP players started to fall as well. Jolton, who was still playing over towards Cash, gets killed by the flank watch. Wimpy gets downed. I'm not quite sure by what. And at that point, though, Outlast, they figure, hey, it's a 2 versus 5. Let's just go and let's hit the site. When you're in a 5v2, especially against a team like KCP, you still need to do your due diligence. We saw as soon as that 2v5 hit, there was no drones. Outlast, instead of taking a step back and saying, okay, let's find these last 2 guys, let's figure out what we need to do. They got a little bit, in my mind, they got a little bit overzealous. I think the thought process was just they were trying to, force that momentum into the site and not allow the last 2 players to kind of recollect their thoughts, but it really bit them in the back against a very experienced team like KCP. You got to take that extra step. And now it's 3-0. It's a perfect site rotation for Pioneers, and they're going to go back down to the basement and pull out a completely different hold.
I'm really starting to question the Cali pick. I mean, we're now at round number 4. This has been a staple of their lineup. And, well, they're sitting at 0-3. Nomad has only 2 kills, and those have been 2 empty frags when the entire team was already baited before that. Keep that in mind. So really a fat goose egg for the Cali right now, and I'm wondering how that's going to change, how especially that feeds into your basement attacking strategy, because you don't really need it. There's no Kai, there's no Electro Claw. That was banned. So I get why you would bring that if there was no Thatcher, but yes, there was a Kaid and you didn't have that Maverick to work with, but that is simply not the case. The Cali, I'm sure there's some sort of big brain strat going on behind the scenes that we are just not quite understanding, Harrison, but it has clearly not been communicated in the scoreline, and Nomad's kills right now are showcasing that. Gen has also been relatively quiet. They're on that entry and only 1 kill for the Zofia. Really, Outlast being shut down as a whole right now, mostly by Diaz, who has just been going insane ever since getting that beautiful triple C4 kill and that ace here. But as we further on in this round, seems that Outlast are once again trying to just get through their early steps, but this time it's a lot slower than they would like.
At least there was no roam they have to worry about, so they haven't lost an early body, and they're able to get that kitchen hatch open. And look, Panic is not dead. The Sledge can still go ahead and work that vert, and there's a duo push coming down towards Dirt. Jolton doing his best to hold on to Necroc's spot, but he's got no more shield to play with, just his gas canisters, and he's only got 1 left and 55 seconds to delay. He'll start getting stunned out by that Zof, and that'll prompt the last gas canister in his pocket. But Genesis is going to try and sprint right through it. The shot's not going to land on anybody, and he's going to take about 50 points of damage for that aggressive play. But now that there's no more smoke, Jolton will be forced to hold on to this with his gun, but there's a stack up. Diaz is watching the angle as well. Sure, Athenio gets the trade, but there's Jolton to find him. It's a 4 versus 3 until Panic comes down the main stairs to find Gomez. 3 versus 3, even man count, last 25 seconds. Plant going down in dark spot from Jewel. Is there going to be any denial from the defense? The smoke can sort of see Panic. Panic will be down, but they'll forfeit the plant, and there's the overwatch from Nomad. But his teammate will get taken out by Inrio. It's just Nomad. He has the up top control in this 1v2, but here's the upstairs flank from both players. They're going to have to try and find this trade on the Cali. Wimpy and Inrio, they've got about 20 seconds to do it. Nomad holding the angle with the SP-SMG, but he can't find either of them. Wimpy and Inrio collapse. It's Inrio credited with the kill, and Wimpy with the counter defuse. Or nope. All right, under threat of a pistol, he'll give it to his teammate, and Kansas City Pioneers will take their 4th defense in a row.
Another round where I wonder what would have happened if the Cali had been any other operator with an AR. You're going against 2. You've got only a couple of bullets in the mag of that, we call it the Pocket F2, that SMG. It's a great gun for a 1v1 close quarters engagement. But 2v1, when you're trying to hold probably a closer angle than you should.
Against 2 people holding hands.
Yeah, I mean, oh God. Once again, not working out for Outlast. Every single round, maybe barring round number 1, they have looked like they've had a good amount of success. I do like what we're seeing from Outlast 50% of each round. Either it's a good clear or a good execute like it was in this case. They got that bomb down. They had good coverage from above. Nomad did a great job there, locking off the dirt player and not allowing them to rotate back around and deny the plant. But the rest of it, the post plant went wrong. The initial entry went wrong. It just wasn't all fully cleaned up in the way that you need to see, especially when you're going against the Kansas City Pioneers right now. And this is a defense that punishes you for every single mistake. We've seen all of these players prove that, even in these 2vx situations, that when they are down, they will still punish you every tiny misstep you make. And Outlast, unfortunately for them, 4-0 right now. The round count, they're just making too many small mistakes. And now going into the second half of this attack, or these final 2 rounds they have to work with, this is where we're going to get to see if they can learn on the fly, right? They've seen both of these next 2 defenses before. They know exactly what they should be walking into on this CCTV attack. What are they going to do to counter it?
And hopefully, step 1 of countering it is take out Diaz. Do not let him play downstairs. Actually, he's not doing that. Never mind. He is upstairs, supporting Jolton, maybe, or just supporting the anchor game in general. Looks like it's Gomez down inside of Lounge instead of him, Wimpy on red instead of Khan. So, while the hold is largely similar, the operators dedicated to said hold and to said specific locations are very different. The Nomad sending out magnets to make sure the Zofia can't double impact onto the Bandit. That's smart. We see that all the time. I believe there's actually a 3rd magnet here, and Panic doesn't expect it. So his ascent up secret, not going to do wonders just yet. The second nade will go out, and it will find Jolton. So although it takes the cost of much utility, they're at least able to get the frag. But no, he doesn't expect Gomez there. Lounge had not been previously droned out. Wimpy takes out another before there's a trade, but another shotgun will answer. They're looking for the 3rd player, and Wimpy will go huge with the shotgun. A shutout from Pioneers, and their 5th straight defense.
Beautiful yet again. I mean, Outlast, they tried their best, barring the Cali pick, which I will stop talking about. And they really just tried to make that entry. They really did. They got the breach open. They got a great kill. Panic with a nade from below. A great way to start off that round. But when it came down to the push, they just didn't have the intel they needed to make it go down successfully. It seemed it was a last second kind of panic, pun not intended, decision to make that one happen, I guess. Once Gomez swung on Panic downstairs over on the secret stairs, it kind of was, oh gosh, we know where one player is. Guess that intel is enough. Let's just push on in the breach. And they got into sight. I mean, they had players in position to get that bomb down, but first they died. They dropped the bomb in the doorway. Then the Cali was next to push in. She died right away. A shotgun at the receiving end of that. And it was just another case of Outlast not doing their due diligence and KCP punishing them for it. I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but it is simply the same mistakes that Outlast are making now round after round. They have a good overall big picture strategy and a couple of things they're doing well, but against KCP right now, it is simply not enough.
Not a single player on Outlast, unfortunately, going positive. They are failing in the strat department and the firepower department. I believe last round as well. I think that was a 3K for the Wimpler, all with the shotgun. Just holding down the breach. Now KCP, like you said, they're doing a very similar hold, if not the same. Outlast, hopefully, expect this, and they know what they're walking into. Once again, Platwall has been breached open. Zofia and the Hibana will be tasked with clearing that player out of cache, and Jewel will open the jacuzzi wall. I did like the way they opened bathroom last time. I think it was very efficient. It was very creative. It was everything after that they need to work on.
Yeah, kind of the rest of the round, you're saying, it seems. But you know what? That's all right. You know, we did preface this with it may just be a learning experience. And seems that, at least barring this last round going their way, that is going to be the story here. We're going to have... I mean, why not, I guess. He's got it in his hand. He Seems that he really wants to place this down. Okay, so we're seeing a little bit of an adaptation from KCP because they know what Outlast likely want to do. We saw the Cali Lance go down on that wall, so Gomez is going to put that Mute Jammer down a little bit later than he would otherwise, but I don't think that's going to be enough to stop them there. Panic will take a good bit of damage, though. I'm not sure exactly where that came from as he is outside just hanging out by the motorcycles here, but Jewel finds themselves without any teammate covering them in the middle of the objective, now dropping the diffuser down in the sight of KCP. Now that is going to be a major problem. You're now going to have to get in there and not only recover that diffuser, but hope to God nobody is covering it and going to cut you down through the soft wall. Panic, hoping that nade can find something, but nobody will be on the receiving end, and it's come to a complete standstill for Outlast. Nobody willing to make a move just yet because KCP are playing back and they are waiting for Outlast to spring into action, but it is not happening.
Not only do you have to worry about that soft wall, but remember, there's this frost from Inrio. Those bear traps might still be under those windows, and with anchors in sight, you got to choose. Are you going to destroy the frost mat, or are you going to take the fight? Athenio now opening the wall. It's very late, and Wimpy will get that C4 kill out the breach. Genesis gets caught out to lunch, and wow, Wimpy with a triple kill. The one-tap with the Deagle finishing off Panic, who is so low. Athenio will finally make his way into cash, but it doesn't matter. Kansas City Pioneers will take a flawless round to complete a flawless half. They are on perfect track for this 7-0 sweep, and it doesn't look like Outlast have anything to say about it.
Well, not the best attacking half. Considering it's Clubhouse as well, that is a little bit more worrying than it would be on a map like Consulate, maybe a map like Coastline. We could excuse a couple of these mistakes. We could especially excuse maybe the operator selection that they're bringing, and especially the consistency with which they're bringing it. But the story will remain the same. KCP, a flawless 6-0 defensive half, and Outlast, they are nowhere to be found. They're going to go on defense, though. Maybe we'll be able to see them shine a little bit. We will see some more creativity. They are going to bring out the Echo, which is not something we saw at all from KCP. Instead of the Valkyrie, that's what Jewel is going to be bringing out. An interesting switch, considering they're both very helpful in terms of that information denial. But on this basement site, that's something that I can definitely support, especially when a lot of teams, especially confident and aggressive teams like KCP, have been all match so far. They like to kind of just run on in and get that plant down as quick as they see an opening. Maybe those yokai drones are your perfect counter to that, but I guess we'll have to see how that combines with the Aruni gates here to form a basement hold coming out from Outlast.
Well, at least they're on defense now. They don't have to worry about attacking anymore. Gomez is also on Ash. That's what we saw from Parabellum. I mean, on pretty much every single other map that we've seen played so far, it is an Iana-Zofia duo entry, or Zofia, what was it? It was Zoe Flores, I think, from Slaughterhouse. But Ash has been brought by both Parabellum and KCP when it comes to Clubhouse. I don't really know why that is, I'm going to be honest. Maybe just personal comfort from either team. Maybe because the Ash, well, you know, having one less breach than the Iana. She has breaching charges. I don't know. We can always go ahead and ask the teams. Psst, Brimstone. The Thermite of Wimpy. Now opening Moto hatch. There's no roam from Outlast, so KC Pioneers are completely unabated. And next will be the kitchen hatch. There is no impact trick prepped, so Jolton is just going to send all 6 down, I guess, instead of 4. Not quite sure why he did that, but he did. And a minute 45, KCP have already opened up most of the necessary avenues. The sledge is still alive, and they are making quick work.
Inrio will be taking up the job of the vertical play. Nobody below right now to contest him, so he'll do so with relative confidence that nobody's going to come and C4 him from below, especially considering there are no C4s in this lobby at all from Outlast. Instead, everyone opting for some other piece of secondary utility. We've got a couple of deployable shields in play, one of which, Athenio, is tucked behind here now that there's a wide open gap facing the main stairs. That's going to be compounded by a couple of these X-Kairos pellets, opening up a couple more angles to pressure from if you're KCP, but nobody actually down the stairs just yet to challenge. Finally, Wimpy, assisted by a hot drone at their feet, will begin this pressure, but for the first time, we can say KCP, they're feeling a little bit of that Outlast defensive setup. They're not being able to push in quite yet. It's really going to come down to how quickly or if they can deal with Athenio at all. We can see Jolton, he wants to get that fight, but he's not going to be able to take it because there's support from somebody else. A beautiful shot onto Panic will change things quickly. Now that Gomez rolls on into blue, Jolton gets a second, Diaz gets one, and just like that, KCP, a flawless round in the closing seconds and a 7-0 beautiful first week for them.